Picture this, a grand medieval hall, torchlight flickering against stone walls, where kings and queens sit not just to feast or declare war, but to engage in a battle of minds, chess. Far from being a mere pastime, chess was a vital tool of diplomacy, a game that mirrored the complexities of power, strategy, and negotiation. In the Middle Ages, rulers didn't just play chess to pass the time. They played to refine their understanding of real-world politics. Every move on the board held lessons in forming alliances, outmaneuvering rivals, and predicting the consequences of their decisions. This ancient game was a microcosm of the medieval world, where every pawn, knight, and queen represented a piece of the intricate diplomatic puzzle. But why does this matter to us today? In a world still shaped by negotiation and strategy, the lessons from medieval chess offer timeless insights into leadership and diplomacy. Think about it. The same principles that guided a medieval king's decision to protect their queen or sacrifice a pawn are echoed in modern boardrooms and political negotiations. Chess was more than a game. It was a training ground for rulers to hone their skills in foresight, patience, and adaptability. It taught them to think several moves ahead, to anticipate their opponent's strategies, and to balance risk with reward. These were not just skills for the chessboard, they were essential for navigating the treacherous waters of medieval politics. As we journey through this video, we'll uncover how chess became a mirror of medieval diplomacy, revealing the delicate dance of power that defined an era. We'll explore how rulers used the game to test their strategies, forge alliances, and outwit their rivals. Along the way, we'll draw parallels to modern leadership, showing how the lessons of medieval chess remain relevant in today's world. So, whether you're a history enthusiast, a chess player, or simply curious about the art of diplomacy, this exploration promises to be a fascinating dive into a world where every move mattered. Let's step into the medieval court and discover how a game of chess could shape the fate of kingdoms. Chess first made its way into medieval Europe through Islamic Spain in the 9th century, where it quickly captivated the imagination of the nobility. It wasn't just a game, it was a reflection of the intellectual and cultural exchange that defined the era. As the game spread across the continent, it transformed into a symbol of sophistication and strategic prowess. In royal courts, chess became a favored pastime among kings and queens, who saw it not just as entertainment, but as a way to demonstrate their wisdom and leadership. Monasteries, too, embraced the game, using it to teach monks the virtues of patience and foresight. Even knights, known for their martial skills, played chess to sharpen their tactical thinking. What made chess particularly fascinating was how it mirrored the complexities of medieval society. Early versions of the game included pieces like the vizier and elephants, reflecting its Persian and Islamic origins. As it adapted to European culture, these pieces evolved into the queen, bishops, and rooks we recognize today. The queen, in particular, became a powerful piece on the board, symbolizing the growing influence of women in medieval courts. The game's rules also shifted to reflect the hierarchical nature of feudal society, with each piece playing a distinct role in the overall strategy. This adaptation wasn't just about gameplay, it was about embedding the values and structures of the time into a format that could be studied and mastered. Chess became a way to teach young nobles the art of governance and diplomacy. Through the game, they learned to think critically, manage resources, and anticipate the consequences of their actions. It was a safe space to explore the challenges of leadership without the high stakes of real-world politics. By the 12th century, chess had become an essential part of noble education. Treatises were written on its strategies, and it was often used as a metaphor for life itself. The game's ability to simulate the dynamics of power made it an invaluable tool for rulers preparing to navigate the intricate world of medieval diplomacy. Chess wasn't just a game, it was a training ground for the minds that would shape history. Chess offered a vivid reflection of medieval society, with each piece embodying a distinct role in the feudal hierarchy. The king, though central to the game, moved cautiously, symbolizing the precarious balance rulers had to maintain between authority and vulnerability. Surrounding the king were pieces like the queen, bishops, and knights, representing the advisors, clergy, and warriors who supported the monarchy. Even the pawns, often overlooked, played a crucial part, much like the peasants who formed the backbone of medieval economies. The way these pieces moved across the board further emphasized their societal roles. Knights, for instance, moved in unique, unpredictable patterns, mirroring their role as protectors who could swiftly respond to threats. Bishops moved diagonally, reflecting their influence in both spiritual and political realms. The rooks, strong and direct, symbolized the fortified castles that were centers of power and defense. And the pawns, advancing slowly but steadily, represented the incremental yet essential contributions of the common people. This intricate system wasn't just a game mechanic, it was a lesson in strategy and resource management. Players had to think several moves ahead, anticipating their opponent's actions while safeguarding their own king. This mirrored the real-world challenges faced by medieval rulers who constantly had to navigate alliances, rivalries, and internal dissent. Chess taught them to weigh risks and rewards, allocate resources wisely, and recognize the importance of every piece, no matter how small. Beyond the board, these lessons translated into practical governance. Rulers learned the value of patience, foresight, and adaptability, skills essential for navigating the complex political landscape of the Middle Ages. Chess became a metaphor for diplomacy where every move had consequences, and the ultimate goal was to outmaneuver opponents while preserving stability. The game's enduring popularity among the elite speaks to its effectiveness as a teaching tool. It wasn't just about winning, it was about understanding the delicate balance of power and the interconnectedness of society. By mastering chess, rulers gained insights that would shape their approach to leadership, both on and off the battlefield. Strategic thinking on the chessboard wasn't just about moving pieces, it was about understanding the bigger picture. Players had to anticipate their opponent's every move, predicting threats and opportunities several turns in advance. This lesson in foresight was invaluable for medieval rulers who faced equally complex challenges in their diplomatic endeavors. In the same way a chess player studied their opponent's strategy, rulers had to analyze the intentions of neighboring kingdoms, rival factions, and even their own courtiers. Diplomacy, like chess, demanded a keen ability to plan ahead and adapt to shifting dynamics. Chess also taught rulers the delicate art of balancing offense and defense. On the board, an overly aggressive approach could leave the king exposed, while excessive caution might lead to missed opportunities. This mirrored the real-world dilemma of when to forge alliances, when to wage war, and when to hold back. A ruler who understood this balance could navigate the treacherous waters of medieval politics with greater confidence. Patience was another key lesson chess imparted. Success often came not from swift, decisive moves but from careful, measured action. This principle resonated deeply in the world of diplomacy, where rushing into decisions could lead to disastrous consequences. Whether negotiating treaties or managing internal disputes, rulers learned the value of waiting for the right moment to act, adaptability was equally crucial. Chess players had to adjust their strategies on the fly as the game unfolded, responding to unexpected moves with creativity and resilience. Similarly, rulers faced constant changes in their political landscape, shifting alliances, sudden betrayals, and unforeseen crises. The ability to think on their feet and pivot when necessary became a hallmark of effective leadership. These principles didn't just stay confined to the chessboard, they shaped the very foundations of medieval diplomacy. By mastering the game, rulers gained a framework for making strategic decisions, whether they were negotiating peace treaties, managing rivalries, or consolidating power. Chess became more than a pastime. It was a training ground for the art of governance, equipping leaders with the tools to navigate the intricate and often perilous world of medieval politics. Sacrifices on the chessboard were more than just moves, they were calculated risks designed to create future opportunities. A player might willingly give up a knight or bishop to gain a stronger position or set a trap for their opponent. This principle of strategic sacrifice found its parallel in the world of medieval diplomacy, where rulers often faced agonizing decisions, ceding territory, offering tribute, or even marrying off a family member to secure an alliance were all forms of sacrifice aimed at achieving a greater goal. For rulers, understanding the value of sacrifice meant recognizing that not every loss was a defeat. Just as a chess player might surrender a pawn to protect their king, a leader might relinquish control of a borderland to prevent a full-scale invasion. These decisions required a clear-eyed assessment of priorities, weighing immediate setbacks against future benefits. Chess provided a framework for thinking through these trade-offs, teaching rulers to look beyond the present moment and consider the long-term implications of their actions. The concept of sacrifice also underscored the importance of timing. In chess, offering up a piece at the wrong moment could lead to disaster, but a well-timed sacrifice could turn the tide of the game. Similarly, in diplomacy, the when and how of a concession could make all the difference. A ruler who acted too hastily might appear weak, while waiting too long could escalate tensions. Chess honed the ability to read the situation and act decisively at the right moment. This mindset extended beyond physical sacrifices to include personal and symbolic gestures. A king might pardon a rebellious noble to foster loyalty or participate in a public ritual to demonstrate unity with their people. These acts, though seemingly small, could have far-reaching effects, much like a strategic sacrifice on the chessboard. Ultimately, the lessons of sacrifice in chess and diplomacy were about understanding the interconnectedness of actions and consequences. Every decision, whether on the board or in the halls of power, rippled outward, shaping the broader landscape. By mastering the art of sacrifice, medieval rulers learned to navigate their world with greater foresight and resilience, turning apparent losses into stepping stones toward lasting success. In chess, the king's safety is the ultimate objective, yet paradoxically, the king itself is not the most powerful piece on the board. It relies on the protection of pawns, the cunning of knights, and the reach of rooks to navigate the game. This dynamic mirrors the position of medieval rulers who, despite their authority, depended heavily on their courtiers, allies, and even rival factions to maintain control. Chess taught leaders that their survival was not a solitary endeavor but a collaborative effort, requiring trust and strategic delegation. The concept of the king as the central piece also emphasized the idea of balance. On the chessboard, a king that ventures too far into the fray risks capture, just as a ruler who overextends their influence could provoke rebellion or weaken their position. Medieval monarchs learned to tread carefully, balancing assertiveness with caution. They understood that their role was not to dominate every aspect of governance, but to orchestrate the efforts of those around them, ensuring harmony and stability within their realm. This reliance on others was not a sign of weakness but a calculated strategy. In chess, even the humble pawn plays a critical role in shielding the king, much like the local lords and officials who upheld a ruler's authority in distant regions. A medieval king who ignored the needs of their vassals or failed to cultivate alliances risked isolation and vulnerability. Chess reinforced the lesson that leadership is as much about listening and collaboration as it is about command. The king's limited mobility on the chessboard also underscores another key diplomatic lesson: patience. Unlike the queen, who can swiftly traverse the board, the king moves one step at a time, symbolizing the measured pace of effective governance. Medieval rulers who acted impulsively often faced dire consequences, while those who exercised restraint and foresight were better equipped to navigate complex political landscapes. Chess provided a framework for thinking several moves ahead, teaching leaders to anticipate challenges and plan accordingly. Finally, the king's centrality in chess highlights the symbolic weight of leadership. Just as the fall of the king signifies the end of the game, the loss of a ruler could plunge a kingdom into chaos. Medieval monarchs were not just political figures but symbols of unity and continuity. Their presence or absence had profound implications for their people. By drawing parallels between the chessboard and their own courts, rulers gained a deeper appreciation for the interconnectedness of their decisions and the enduring impact of their leadership. The transformation of the queen in chess is one of the most fascinating shifts in the game's history. Originally, the queen was the weakest piece, capable of moving only one square diagonally. By the late 15th century, however, it had become the most powerful piece on the board, capable of moving any number of squares in any direction. This change mirrored the growing influence of women in medieval society, particularly figures like Helena of Aquitaine, who wielded significant political and diplomatic power. Her ability to negotiate treaties, manage vast territories, and influence the direction of kingdoms showcased the rising prominence of women in leadership roles. Chess, in this sense, became a reflection of real-world power dynamics. The queen's rise symbolized the recognition of diverse strengths within a ruler's court. Just as a medieval monarch relied on the strategic insight of advisors, the queen's versatility on the chessboard demonstrated the importance of adaptability and flexibility in governance. Leaders who embraced diverse perspectives and talents were better equipped to navigate the complexities of diplomacy and statecraft. The queen's dominance also highlighted the value of calculated risk. On the chessboard, a well-placed queen can control the game's flow, pressuring opponents and creating opportunities for victory. Similarly, medieval rulers who leveraged the influence of key figures, male or female, could shift the balance of power in their favor. Helena of Aquitaine's legacy is a testament to this principle. Her ability to unite factions, broker alliances, and influence the succession of kingdoms underscored the impact of strategic collaboration. Beyond individual figures, the queen's evolution represents a broader lesson: the importance of adaptability in leadership. Medieval societies were constantly changing, with shifting alliances, emerging threats, and evolving cultural norms. Chess taught rulers to remain fluid in their strategies, ready to pivot when circumstances demanded. The queen's ability to dominate the board from any position reinforced the idea that strength lies in versatility, not rigidity. Finally, the queen's prominence in chess serves as a reminder that leadership is not confined to a single mold. Just as the queen complements the king's role, effective governance relies on a balance of diverse talents and perspectives. Medieval rulers who recognized this were better equipped to build coalitions, resolve conflicts, and secure their legacy. The chessboard, in this way, became a training ground for understanding the complexities of power and the value of inclusive leadership. The knight in chess, with its distinctive L-shaped movement, stands out as a symbol of creative strategy and adaptability. Unlike other pieces that move in straight lines, the knight's ability to leap over obstacles and change direction unpredictably mirrors the challenges medieval rulers faced in their diplomatic endeavors. Just as the knight can bypass defenses and strike from unexpected angles, leaders had to navigate shifting alliances, sudden betrayals, and unforeseen crises. This unpredictability wasn't a weakness, it was a strength. Knights on the chessboard demonstrated that unconventional approaches could disrupt an opponent's plans and create openings for victory. In the same way, rulers who embraced flexibility and ingenuity often outmaneuvered their rivals. Take, for example, Richard the Lionheart during the Third Crusade. Facing a well-fortified enemy, he employed unconventional tactics such as leveraging naval power and forging unexpected alliances to achieve his objectives. His ability to think outside the box, much like the knight's movement, allowed him to turn the tide in his favor. The knight's role also underscores the importance of timing and positioning. On the chessboard, a well-placed knight can control key squares and influence the game's outcome. Similarly, in diplomacy, leaders had to choose the right moment to act and position themselves advantageously. A hastily forged alliance or a poorly timed negotiation could backfire, while a carefully orchestrated move could secure lasting peace. What makes the knight truly fascinating is its ability to recover from setbacks. Even when seemingly cornered, a knight can reposition itself and regain its strategic value. This resilience reflects the reality of medieval politics, where rulers often faced defeat but could still recover through clever maneuvering. The knight's journey across the board teaches us that setbacks are opportunities for reinvention and that persistence, combined with creativity, can lead to success. Ultimately, the knight's unique path reminds us that rigid strategies often fail in complex situations. Whether on the chessboard or in the realm of diplomacy, adaptability and innovation are essential. Leaders who embraced these principles found themselves better equipped to navigate the unpredictable currents of their time, proving that sometimes the most unconventional moves yield the greatest rewards. Bishops in chess, with their diagonal movement, embody the idea of long-term vision and far-reaching influence. While other pieces operate in immediate, direct ways, the bishop's strength lies in its ability to control entire sections of the board from a distance. This unique trait mirrors the way medieval rulers had to think beyond the present moment, considering how their decisions would shape the future. Just as a bishop can dominate a diagonal, a ruler's strategic foresight could determine the fate of their kingdom for generations to come. In the medieval world, diplomacy wasn't just about resolving immediate conflict. It was about laying the groundwork for lasting alliances and stability. A hasty treaty or a poorly thought-out agreement could have unintended consequences years or even decades later. Leaders who understood this, like King Henry II of England, often relied on advisors who functioned much like bishops on the chessboard. These advisors provided a broader perspective, helping rulers anticipate the ripple effects of their actions and navigate the complexities of international relations. The bishop's influence also highlights the importance of positioning and patience. On the chessboard, a well-placed bishop can quietly shape the game's outcome, even if its impact isn't immediately obvious. Similarly, in diplomacy, subtle maneuvers often yielded more significant results than overt displays of power. For instance, the marriage alliances of medieval Europe were often arranged years in advance, with strategic considerations that extended far beyond the immediate political landscape. These alliances were like bishops on a diagonal, quietly building influence over time. Another lesson from the bishop's role is the value of adaptability within a long-term strategy. While bishops are limited to diagonal movement, they can switch directions to respond to changing circumstances. This flexibility reflects how medieval rulers had to adjust their plans without losing sight of their ultimate goals. A ruler who could pivot in response to new developments while still keeping their long-term vision intact was often the most successful in maintaining stability and expanding their influence. Ultimately, the bishop's presence on the chessboard serves as a reminder of the delicate balance between immediate action and future planning. Medieval rulers who mastered this balance, who could navigate the complexities of their time while keeping an eye on the horizon, were the ones who left a lasting legacy. The bishop's strategic power teaches us that true leadership requires not just the ability to react to the present, but the foresight to shape the future. Rooks in chess, with their uncomplicated yet powerful movement, symbolize the strength of consistent and straightforward action. Unlike other pieces that rely on intricate maneuvers, the rook's ability to move in straight lines across the board underscores the value of clarity and reliability. In medieval diplomacy, this principle was equally vital. Rulers who implemented clear, unwavering policies were often more successful in building trust and maintaining stability within their realms and beyond. The rook's unwavering path reflects the importance of steadfastness in leadership, a quality that could make or break alliances in a world where uncertainty was the norm. Take, for example, the reign of Emperor Charlemagne. His approach to governance was marked by consistent and transparent policies, which helped him unify much of Western Europe under his rule. Charlemagne understood that trust was not built overnight. It required a sustained commitment to principles that others could rely on. Just as a rook controls entire ranks and files on the chessboard, his consistent leadership allowed him to extend his influence across vast territories, fostering alliances that endured for decades. The rook's simplicity also highlights the power of integrity in diplomacy. In a world rife with intrigue and shifting loyalties, rulers who upheld their word stood out as dependable partners. This reliability was a cornerstone of medieval statecraft, much like the rook's role in anchoring a chess strategy. A ruler who could be counted on to act in predictable, honorable ways was often more effective in securing long-term alliances than one who relied on deceit or unpredictability. Another lesson from the rook is the importance of balance between adaptability and consistency. While the rook's movement is straightforward, its effectiveness depends on strategic placement and timing. Similarly, medieval rulers had to balance their commitment to clear policies with the need to respond to changing circumstances. A ruler who could maintain their core principles while adapting to new challenges was often the most successful in navigating the complexities of their time. Ultimately, the rook's presence on the chessboard serves as a reminder of the enduring power of simplicity and reliability. In both chess and diplomacy, the ability to act with consistency and clarity can be a formidable advantage. Medieval rulers who embraced these qualities, who could lead with integrity and steadfastness, were the ones who built lasting legacies. The rook's straightforward approach teaches us that true strength often lies not in complexity, but in the unwavering commitment to principles that others can trust. Pawns in chess may appear humble, but their influence on the game is anything but small. Often overlooked in favor of more powerful pieces, pawns possess the unique ability to shape the battlefield, control space, and even promote to more formidable roles. In much the same way, the common people in medieval society were the foundation upon which kingdoms were built. Their labor, loyalty, and support were essential for rulers to maintain stability and expand their influence. Chess subtly taught leaders that no resource, no matter how modest, could be dismissed, a lesson that translated directly to the art of governance and diplomacy. The strategic value of pawns lies in their capacity to work collectively. Individually, a pawn may seem limited, but when coordinated, they form a protective wall, control key squares, and set the stage for more significant maneuvers. Medieval rulers who understood this principle recognized the importance of fostering unity among their subjects. By ensuring the well-being of their people, whether through fair laws, economic opportunities, or protection from external threats, they built a loyal and cohesive populace. This grassroots support was often the deciding factor in conflicts, much like how a well-placed pawn can turn the tide of a chess match. One striking example of this dynamic was the reign of Henry II of England. His legal reforms, known as the Assizes, aimed to bring justice closer to the people, strengthening their trust in his rule. By addressing grievances and ensuring a more uniform legal system, Henry not only consolidated his power, but also demonstrated an acute understanding of the value of the common people. His approach mirrored the chess strategy of advancing pawns to secure key positions, creating a stable foundation for his broader ambitions. The concept of pawn promotion in chess offers another profound metaphor for medieval governance. A pawn that reaches the far side of the board can transform into a queen, the most powerful piece on the board. This mirrors the potential of the common people to rise through societal ranks, contributing significantly to a ruler's success. Medieval leaders who encouraged upward mobility, whether through military service, trade, or education, tapped into a reservoir of talent and innovation, enriching their realms and strengthening their diplomatic standing. Chess also teaches that neglecting pawns can lead to disastrous consequences. A weakened pawn structure creates vulnerabilities that opponents can exploit, leaving a player's position precarious. Similarly, rulers who ignored the needs of their people risked rebellion, economic decline, and the erosion of their authority. The Peasants' Revolt of 1381 in England serves as a stark reminder of the power of the common people when pushed to their limits. Though the revolt was ultimately suppressed, it underscored the dangers of underestimating the grassroots forces that sustain a kingdom. In both chess and medieval diplomacy, the lesson is clear: every piece, every person has a role to play. The seemingly insignificant can become the cornerstone of success when valued and strategically utilized. Chess, with its intricate interplay of pieces, offers a timeless blueprint for leadership, one that emphasizes the importance of inclusivity, foresight, and respect for all contributions. By embracing this mindset, medieval rulers not only strengthened their own positions, but also laid the groundwork for more enduring and harmonious societies. Chess demands a level of patience that can feel almost unnatural. Players must resist the urge to make impulsive moves, instead carefully planning their strategy and waiting for the perfect moment to act. This lesson in restraint was one of the most valuable takeaways for medieval rulers who studied the game. In diplomacy, as in chess, acting too quickly could lead to catastrophic mistakes, while patience often paved the way for success. The ability to weigh options, anticipate opponents' moves, and delay gratification became a hallmark of effective leadership. Take, for example, the 100 Years' War between England and France. This prolonged conflict was marked by periods of intense fighting followed by long stretches of negotiation and stalemate. Leaders on both sides had to balance their desire for victory with the need to conserve resources and maintain alliances. Rushing into battle without a solid plan or overextending their forces could have spelled disaster. Instead, they adopted a chess-like approach, carefully considering each move and its potential consequences. This measured strategy allowed them to navigate the complexities of war and diplomacy with greater precision. The concept of patience in chess also mirrors the delicate art of alliance building. Just as a chess player might sacrifice a pawn to gain a positional advantage, rulers sometimes had to make short-term concessions to secure long-term benefits. For instance, the marriage alliances of medieval Europe often required years of negotiation and compromise. Rulers understood that forging a powerful alliance could take time, but the payoff, whether in the form of military support, economic ties, or political legitimacy, was well worth the wait. This slow, deliberate approach was a direct reflection of the patience cultivated through chess. Even in times of crisis, patience proved to be a critical asset. When faced with rebellion or external threats, rulers who acted impulsively often escalated the situation, while those who took a measured approach could de-escalate tensions and find peaceful solutions. The game's emphasis on thinking several moves ahead taught leaders to consider the broader implications of their actions, avoiding decisions that might undermine their long-term goals. The parallels between chess and diplomacy extend to the importance of timing. In chess, launching an attack too early can leave a player vulnerable, while waiting too long can squander an opportunity. Similarly, in diplomacy, knowing when to act and when to hold back could determine the success or failure of a campaign. The legendary ruler Charlemagne exemplified this principle in his interactions with neighboring kingdoms. By carefully choosing when to negotiate, when to wage war, and when to form alliances, he expanded his empire while maintaining stability and order. Chess, with its intricate balance of aggression and restraint, provided a framework for medieval rulers to navigate the complexities of their world. The game's emphasis on patience and timing was more than just a tactical lesson. It was a philosophy of leadership. By adopting a chess-like mindset, rulers could approach diplomacy with clarity, foresight, and a deep understanding of the power of waiting. This timeless principle remains as relevant today as it was centuries ago, reminding us that sometimes the most effective move is the one we don't make just yet. Chess is more than just a game of strategy. It's a window into the human mind. One of its most powerful lessons for medieval rulers was the ability to understand and anticipate an opponent's psychology. On the chessboard, every move reveals something about the player's intentions, fears, and strengths. Rulers who mastered the game learned to apply this insight to real-world diplomacy, where reading an adversary's mindset could mean the difference between success and failure. The psychology of chess lies in its ability to force players to think not just about their own strategy, but also about their opponents. A skilled player doesn't just plan their moves, they predict their rivals' responses and adapt accordingly. This dual focus on self and other was vital for rulers navigating the complex web of medieval politics. Consider the case of Helena of Aquitaine, one of the most influential figures of her time. Known for her sharp intellect and political acumen, Helena often outmaneuvered her opponents by anticipating their actions long before they made them. Her ability to read people, whether allies or enemies, was rooted in the same skills honed through chess. The game also teaches players to recognize patterns of behavior. Just as a chess player might notice an opponent's tendency to favor certain pieces or strategies, a ruler could identify recurring traits in their adversaries. For example, a king known for aggression might be goaded into overextending his forces, while a cautious leader could be pressured into making concessions. This understanding of human behavior allowed rulers to craft strategies tailored to their opponent's weaknesses. Chess also emphasizes the importance of emotional control. In the heat of a match, players must remain calm and composed, even when the stakes are high. This lesson was invaluable for rulers facing crises or high-stakes negotiations. Acting out of anger or fear could lead to rash decisions, while maintaining composure often opened the door to more favorable outcomes. The game's mental demands helped leaders develop the resilience needed to navigate the pressures of their roles. The psychological lessons of chess extend beyond individual interactions to the broader dynamics of power. In both chess and diplomacy, understanding the motivations and fears of multiple players is essential for maintaining balance. Rulers had to keep an eye on their immediate opponents while also considering the interests of neutral parties who might shift allegiances. This multi-layered approach to strategy mirrors the complexity of medieval alliances, where a single misstep could unravel years of careful planning. Even today, the psychological insights gleaned from chess continue to shape diplomacy. Modern negotiators and leaders often draw on the principles of the game to navigate complex relationships and conflicts. The ability to read an opponent, anticipate their moves, and maintain emotional control remains as relevant now as it was centuries ago. Chess, with its timeless lessons on the human mind, reminds us that understanding others is the ultimate key to mastering the game of diplomacy. Chess teaches players to carefully balance offense and defense, a principle that held immense value for medieval rulers navigating the complexities of governance and diplomacy. On the board, moving too aggressively can leave a player vulnerable to counterattacks, while excessive caution can lead to missed opportunities. This idea of equilibrium was mirrored in the political landscape, where rulers had to protect their kingdoms while also seeking ways to expand their influence. Striking this balance was no easy task, but chess provided a framework for understanding how to weigh risks and rewards in real-world decision-making. Take, for instance, the reign of King Louis IX of France. Known for his piety and diplomacy, Louis often used restraint as a strategic tool. While he led military campaigns to secure his borders, he also prioritized alliances and treaties to maintain stability. This approach reflected the chess player's mindset, knowing when to advance and when to consolidate resources. Louis's ability to balance aggression with caution allowed him to strengthen his kingdom without overextending its reach. The concept of balance in chess also extends to resource management. Every piece on the board has a role, and effective players understand how to use them in harmony. Rulers faced similar challenges in managing their resources, whether it was manpower, wealth, or political capital. Squandering resources on unnecessary conflicts could weaken a kingdom, just as misusing chess pieces could lead to defeat. This lesson in resource allocation was critical for rulers aiming to maintain long-term stability. Even in times of conflict, the idea of balance remained central. Medieval rulers often found themselves juggling multiple threats at once, much like a chess player managing multiple pieces in play. The ability to prioritize and respond to the most immediate danger while keeping an eye on the bigger picture was a skill honed on the chessboard and applied in the political arena. For example, during the 100 Years' War, both English and French leaders had to balance their efforts on the battlefield with the need to secure alliances and manage internal dissent. The lessons of balance from chess continue to resonate in modern diplomacy. Today's leaders must navigate a world of shifting alliances, economic pressures, and global conflicts. The principles of maintaining equilibrium, protecting interests, and seizing opportunities remain as relevant as ever. Chess, with its timeless focus on harmony and strategy, reminds us that balance is not just a game concept, it's a cornerstone of effective leadership and diplomacy. By studying the game, we gain insights into the delicate art of maintaining stability in an ever-changing world. Throughout medieval history, chess became more than just a game. It was a language of diplomacy and strategy for rulers like Charlemagne and Richard the Lionheart. Charlemagne, often regarded as the father of Europe, embraced chess as a way to foster unity among his diverse territories. By inviting neighboring leaders to play, he used the game as a symbolic bridge, emphasizing shared strategy over conflict. These matches were less about winning and more about establishing mutual understanding, a practice that laid the groundwork for lasting alliances. Richard the Lionheart, on the other hand, employed chess as a means of asserting dominance and testing rivals. During the Third Crusade, he reportedly played chess with Saladin, the Sultan of Egypt and Syria, as a gesture of respect amid their military struggles. While the match itself was a peaceful exchange, it carried deeper implications. By engaging in this intellectual duel, Richard and Saladin communicated their strategic prowess without resorting to further bloodshed. It was a subtle reminder that even in war, there was room for negotiation and mutual recognition. Chess also played a role in formalizing treaties and agreements. In medieval Europe, it was not uncommon for rulers to include chess sets as part of diplomatic gifts, symbolizing the hope for a balanced and thoughtful relationship. The game's emphasis on foresight and patience served as a metaphor for the careful planning required in diplomacy. For example, when Henry II of England sought to mend ties with Thomas Becket, he reportedly sent him a finely crafted chess set as a gesture of goodwill. This act underscored the importance of strategy and reconciliation in their strained relationship. Even in times of rivalry, chess matches between monarchs carried significant weight. When two rulers sat across the board, they were not merely playing a game, they were engaging in a microcosm of their political relationship. A well-played move could signal respect, while a bold gambit might hint at underlying tensions. These matches often served as a precursor to negotiations, allowing rulers to gauge each other's intentions and temperament. The influence of chess extended beyond individual encounters, shaping broader diplomatic practices. Treaties and alliances were frequently drafted with the same careful consideration as a chess strategy, weighing each decision's long-term impact. The game's principles of patience, foresight, and balance became embedded in the art of diplomacy, offering rulers a tangible way to navigate the complexities of their time. Through chess, they learned to think several moves ahead, a skill that proved invaluable in both politics and governance. By examining these historical examples, we see how chess transcended its role as a pastime to become a powerful tool in shaping medieval diplomacy. It provided rulers with a framework for understanding their relationships with others, offering lessons in strategy, patience, and mutual respect that remain relevant to this day. Chess wasn't just a pastime for medieval rulers, it was a blueprint for drafting some of the most significant treaties of the era. The intricate negotiations behind these agreements often mirrored the strategic depth of a chess match, requiring rulers to anticipate their opponent's moves and plan several steps ahead. For example, when the Treaty of Windsor was signed between England and Portugal in 1386, it wasn't just a simple exchange of promises. Instead, it was the result of careful planning, much like a well-executed chess strategy. Both sides had to weigh their immediate needs against long-term goals, ensuring that the agreement would benefit them for generations to come. The game's emphasis on balance and foresight was particularly crucial in treaty-making. Medieval rulers understood that alliances were only as strong as the mutual benefits they provided. Just as a chess player must consider the position of every piece on the board, negotiators had to account for the interests of various factions within their own and their allies' territories. This often meant making difficult trade-offs, such as ceding territory or granting trade rights in exchange for military support or economic stability. These decisions required a level of critical thinking and patience that chess had helped to cultivate. One notable example is the Treaty of Troyes in 1420, which sought to end the 100 Years' War between England and France. The negotiations were fraught with tension, as both sides sought to secure their interests without appearing weak. Like a chess master, Henry V of England had to carefully maneuver his way through the discussions, offering concessions that would appease the French without undermining his own position. The treaty itself was a delicate balance of power, much like a chess game where both players are evenly matched. Chess also taught rulers the importance of timing in diplomacy. Just as a poorly timed move in chess can lead to disaster, a poorly timed demand in negotiations can derail an entire agreement. Medieval leaders learned to recognize when to push for concessions and when to hold back, a skill that was essential for maintaining the delicate balance of power. This understanding of timing often made the difference between a successful treaty and a failed negotiation. The influence of chess extended beyond the treaties themselves, shaping the broader political landscape of the Middle Ages. By teaching rulers to think strategically and anticipate the consequences of their actions, the game helped to create a more stable and predictable system of governance. Treaties crafted with this mindset were more likely to endure, as they were based on a careful consideration of all parties' needs rather than short-term gains. In this way, chess became an integral part of medieval diplomacy, offering rulers a framework for navigating the complexities of treaty-making. Its lessons in strategy, balance, and timing were invaluable, not only for securing agreements but also for maintaining the alliances that defined the political world of the Middle Ages. The game's impact on governance was profound, demonstrating how a simple board game could shape the course of history. Chess embodied the delicate interplay between peace and conflict in medieval diplomacy, serving as both a bridge and a battleground for rival rulers. When tensions between kingdoms threatened to spill into open warfare, a chessboard could offer a neutral space for dialogue and de-escalation. Matches between leaders were more than just games, they were symbolic acts of engagement, a way to test intentions and build trust without the immediate risks of battle. For instance, during the 12th century, chess matches between Christian and Muslim leaders during the Crusades became a medium for cultural exchange and mutual respect, even amid deep-seated animosities. These encounters demonstrated how chess could transform conflict into conversation, fostering a sense of shared humanity despite political divides. However, the game could also be a tool of intimidation and dominance. A well-played match was a display of strategic brilliance, and for some rulers, it was a way to assert their superiority over an opponent without resorting to violence. Inviting a rival to a game of chess could be as much a test of their mental fortitude as a gesture of goodwill. A crushing victory on the board could undermine an adversary's confidence, subtly shifting the balance of power in favor of the winner. This dual nature of chess, its ability to either unite or divide, mirrored the complexities of medieval diplomacy, where alliances and rivalries were often intertwined. The symbolism of the game extended beyond individual matches. Chess pieces themselves were miniature representations of a kingdom's hierarchy, with kings, queens, knights, and pawns each playing a distinct role. This structure reflected the social order of medieval Europe, where every individual had a part to play in the broader political system. Just as a chess player must carefully coordinate their pieces to achieve victory, rulers had to manage their courts and alliances with precision, balancing the interests of noble factions, clergy, and commoners. This duality of chess, as a symbol of both peace and conflict, offered rulers a framework for navigating the unpredictable landscape of medieval politics. It taught them to recognize when to seek compromise and when to assert their strength, a lesson that was crucial for maintaining stability in an era marked by shifting allegiances and territorial disputes. The game's enduring legacy lies in its ability to encapsulate the essence of diplomacy, where every move carries the potential to either heal or harm. Through chess, medieval rulers learned to wield power with both wisdom and restraint, leaving a lasting impact on the art of governance. As chess traveled across medieval Europe, it became more than just a game. It transformed into a vibrant tapestry of cultural exchange. Each region that embraced chess added its own unique flavor to the game, adapting its rules and pieces to reflect local traditions and values. For example, the Islamic world introduced the queen and bishop in their modern forms, while European players refined the game's strategy and movement. This blending of ideas turned chess into a living testament to the interconnectedness of medieval societies, where trade routes, pilgrimages, and diplomatic missions carried not just goods but also ideas. Chess matches between rulers of different cultures became powerful moments of connection. When a Christian king faced off against a Muslim emir or a Byzantine emperor, the board became a shared language that transcended linguistic and religious barriers. These encounters were opportunities to exchange not just moves but also philosophies, art, and technology. The game's universality allowed players to engage on equal footing, fostering a sense of mutual respect and understanding that often extended beyond the board. In this way, chess became a subtle yet profound tool for diplomacy, helping to ease tensions and build bridges between worlds. The cultural significance of chess is perhaps most evident in its artistic representations. Medieval manuscripts and tapestries often depict chess games, showcasing the game's role in both courtly life and storytelling. These artworks reveal how chess was woven into the cultural fabric of the time, symbolizing intellect, power, and the human condition. Even today, the legacy of these exchanges can be seen in the diverse styles of chess sets from around the world, each telling its own story of the people who played it. By bringing people together across divides, chess demonstrated the potential for dialogue and cooperation in an era often marked by conflict. Its ability to adapt and evolve mirrored the fluidity of medieval diplomacy, where alliances and rivalries shifted like pieces on a board. Through chess, rulers and their courts learned to appreciate the richness of other cultures, laying the groundwork for the more interconnected world we know today. Chess mirrors the intricate dance between rulers and their advisors, a dynamic that shaped medieval diplomacy in profound ways. Just as every piece on the board has a distinct role and potential, advisors brought their specialized knowledge and insights to the table, guiding rulers through the complexities of governance. The queen, for instance, represents flexibility and power, much like a trusted advisor who could navigate delicate negotiations or offer sage counsel in times of crisis. The bishop, with its diagonal reach, symbolizes the advisor's ability to see connections and opportunities that others might overlook. In medieval courts, advisors were the unsung strategists behind many diplomatic successes. Their expertise in law, culture, and foreign relations made them indispensable in crafting alliances, resolving disputes, and avoiding conflicts. A ruler who ignored their advice risked losing the game, just as a chess player who neglects the strengths of their pieces might face defeat. This collaboration between ruler and advisor highlights the importance of teamwork in both chess and diplomacy, where collective intelligence often triumphs over individual ambition. The parallels extend even further when considering the concept of sacrifice. In chess, players sometimes sacrifice a piece to gain a strategic advantage, a move that requires foresight and trust in the broader plan. Similarly, rulers occasionally had to make difficult decisions, such as ceding territory or resources, to secure long-term peace or alliances. Advisors played a key role in evaluating these trade-offs, offering perspectives that balanced immediate losses with future gains. The relationship between rulers and their advisors also reflects the hierarchical yet interdependent nature of medieval society. Just as pawns can be promoted to more powerful pieces in chess, skilled advisors could rise through the ranks, earning the trust and favor of their sovereign. This fluidity underscores the idea that every individual, regardless of their starting position, could contribute meaningfully to the collective goal. By studying the role of advisors in both chess and diplomacy, we gain a deeper appreciation for the collaborative spirit that underpinned medieval leadership. The game serves as a timeless reminder that success often depends on listening, learning, and leveraging the strengths of those around us. It's a lesson that resonates just as strongly today as it did centuries ago. Chess is not just a game of strategy and foresight, it's also a masterclass in the art of deception. Players often mislead their opponents, creating illusions and false paths to mask their true intentions. This skill was invaluable to medieval rulers who frequently employed similar tactics in the complex world of diplomacy. Bluffing, feinting, and strategic misdirection were as essential to their political playbooks as they were to the game itself. Take the concept of the gambit, for example. In chess, a gambit involves sacrificing a piece early in the game to gain a long-term advantage. Medieval rulers mirrored this approach by making calculated concessions, perhaps offering a seemingly generous treaty or ceding a small territory to secure a more significant strategic benefit down the line. These moves required careful planning and a deep understanding of their opponent's motivations. Another chess tactic with diplomatic parallels is the concept of decoying. A player might lure an opponent's piece into a vulnerable position to create an opening elsewhere on the board. In medieval diplomacy, rulers often used similar tactics, diverting their adversary's attention to one issue while quietly advancing their agenda in another. For instance, a ruler might feign interest in a minor border dispute while secretly negotiating a crucial alliance with a neighboring power. The ability to conceal one's intentions was equally critical. Just as a chess player might hide their true strategy behind a series of innocuous moves, rulers learned to mask their goals with carefully crafted rhetoric and gestures. Public speeches, treaties, and even royal marriages could all serve as smokescreens designed to confuse or mislead rival powers. Yet deception in diplomacy wasn't just about hiding one's own plans, it also involved uncovering those of one's adversaries. Chess teaches players to anticipate their opponent's moves, and medieval rulers honed this skill by gathering intelligence through spies, informants, and envoys. Understanding an adversary's weaknesses and ambitions allowed them to exploit opportunities and avoid pitfalls. The art of deception remains a cornerstone of modern statecraft. Leaders still use carefully orchestrated press releases, diplomatic overtures, and even social media to shape perceptions and influence outcomes. Whether on the chessboard or the world stage, the ability to mislead without being misled is a timeless skill that continues to shape the course of history. It's a reminder that sometimes what you don't see is just as important as what you do. Chess, with its intricate strategies and calculated moves, offers a powerful metaphor for leadership, but it also reveals the inherent limits of control. No matter how skilled a player may be, they cannot predict every move their opponent will make or anticipate every twist in the game. This unpredictability mirrors the challenges faced by medieval rulers, who often found themselves navigating wars, plagues, and rebellions that disrupted even the most carefully laid plans. Chess taught leaders to embrace adaptability, showing them that success often hinges on the ability to respond creatively to unexpected obstacles. One of the most profound lessons chess imparts is the value of flexibility. A player might begin with a specific strategy in mind, only to have it upended by an opponent's unexpected maneuver. Similarly, medieval rulers had to pivot quickly when faced with sudden threats or shifting alliances. For example, a king might have planned to expand his territory through a carefully orchestrated military campaign, only to find himself dealing with an uprising at home or the outbreak of disease. In such moments, the ability to reassess priorities and adjust tactics was essential. Chess also emphasizes the importance of resilience. A single mistake can lead to significant losses, but skilled players know how to recover and turn the tide of the game. This mindset was crucial for medieval leaders who often faced setbacks that could have spelled disaster. Take, for instance, the case of a ruler whose army was defeated in battle. Instead of despairing, they might regroup, forge new alliances, or employ diplomacy to secure their position. This ability to bounce back from adversity was a hallmark of effective leadership. Moreover, chess teaches that not every situation can be controlled, and that's okay. Players often have to make decisions with incomplete information, relying on intuition and experience to guide them. Medieval rulers operated under similar conditions, making choices based on limited intelligence or uncertain circumstances. This acceptance of uncertainty was a vital skill, allowing leaders to act decisively even when the path ahead was unclear. The parallels between chess and medieval leadership extend to the modern era, where adaptability and resilience remain critical qualities for those in power. Whether navigating political crises, economic downturns, or global challenges, today's leaders must be prepared to adjust their strategies and persevere in the face of adversity. Chess reminds us that while we cannot control every outcome, we can always choose how we respond, a lesson as relevant now as it was in the Middle Ages. Chess has always been a mirror of the player's personality, and for medieval rulers, the way they approached the game often revealed their broader leadership styles. Take, for instance, the aggressive tacticians who favored bold, high-risk moves. These rulers were likely to pursue expansionist policies, using military might to assert dominance and conquer new territories. Their approach to chess reflected a mindset that valued speed and force over patience, often leaving them vulnerable to counterattacks both on and off the board. On the other end of the spectrum were the cautious, defensive players. These rulers prioritized stability and security, carefully weighing every decision to minimize risk. In chess, they might focus on protecting their king and maintaining a strong position rather than launching ambitious offensives. This style translated into their governance, where they sought to preserve the status quo and avoid unnecessary conflict. For them, chess was a lesson in restraint and strategic patience, qualities that could be just as valuable in ruling a kingdom as they were on the board. Some rulers blended these approaches, adapting their strategies based on the circumstances. They understood that chess, like diplomacy, required flexibility, the ability to shift from offense to defense as the situation demanded. These leaders excelled at reading their opponents both in the game and in the political arena, anticipating their moves and countering them effectively. This adaptability made them formidable players and shrewd rulers, capable of navigating the complexities of medieval politics with finesse. Chess also highlighted the importance of collaboration and delegation. Just as players rely on their pieces to execute their strategies, rulers depended on their advisors, generals, and allies to achieve their goals. A king who underestimated the value of his pawns might find himself outmaneuvered, just as a ruler who alienated their supporters risked losing their grasp on power. The game reinforced the idea that leadership is not a solitary endeavor but a collective effort, requiring trust, communication, and a clear vision. These diverse approaches to chess offer a window into the minds of medieval rulers, revealing how their personalities and priorities shaped their leadership styles. The lessons they learned from the game, whether about boldness, caution, adaptability, or collaboration, extended far beyond the board, influencing their decisions and actions in ways that shaped the course of history. Today, chess continues to serve as a valuable tool for understanding leadership, offering timeless insights that resonate in both the medieval and modern worlds. Chess's influence extends far beyond the medieval era, shaping the way modern leaders approach diplomacy in an increasingly complex world. The strategic principles honed over centuries of gameplay, foresight, patience, and adaptability are just as crucial today as they were in the courts of kings and queens. In an age of global interconnectedness, where decisions ripple across borders in an instant, the ability to anticipate consequences and plan multiple moves ahead is invaluable. Take, for example, international negotiations. Much like a chess match, diplomacy often involves understanding the motivations of other players and crafting responses that balance competing interests. Leaders must weigh short-term gains against long-term stability, much like a chess player deciding whether to sacrifice a piece for positional advantage. The game's emphasis on patience and timing translates directly to the diplomatic arena, where rushing into decisions can lead to unintended consequences. Adaptability is another key lesson from chess that resonates in modern diplomacy. Just as a player must adjust their strategy based on their opponent's moves, leaders must respond to shifting geopolitical landscapes. Economic crises, environmental challenges, and technological advancements require a nimble approach, where rigid thinking can lead to failure. Chess teaches that flexibility and creativity are essential for overcoming obstacles, whether on the board or on the world stage. The concept of balance, so central to chess, also plays a critical role in diplomacy. A successful negotiator must balance strength with diplomacy, assertiveness with cooperation, and ambition with caution. Like a chess player who carefully positions their pieces to control the board, a skilled diplomat creates alliances and leverages relationships to achieve their goals. Perhaps most importantly, chess reminds us that diplomacy is not a zero-sum game. While the ultimate aim is to checkmate the opponent, the path to victory often involves collaboration, trade-offs, and mutual understanding. Modern leaders who embrace this mindset are better equipped to address global challenges, finding solutions that benefit multiple parties rather than pursuing narrow self-interest. From medieval courts to today's international summits, chess has served as a masterclass in strategy and negotiation. Its lessons continue to resonate, offering timeless insights for those navigating the intricacies of leadership and diplomacy. The game's enduring legacy is a testament to its profound impact on how we think, plan, and lead in an ever-changing world. Chess's power as a metaphor for life lies in its ability to mirror the complexities and uncertainties we all face. The game demands resilience, teaching us to bounce back from setbacks and adapt to changing circumstances. Every move carries consequences, and every decision requires careful thought, much like the choices we make in our daily lives. Whether navigating personal relationships, career challenges, or unexpected obstacles, the lessons of chess offer a framework for thoughtful, deliberate action. At its core, chess emphasizes the importance of critical thinking. It encourages players to analyze situations from multiple angles, anticipate potential outcomes, and weigh risks against rewards. These skills are invaluable in life, where quick judgments can lead to missed opportunities or costly mistakes. By fostering patience and strategic foresight, chess helps us approach problems with clarity and confidence, even in high-pressure situations. Planning is another cornerstone of both chess and life. The game teaches us to set long-term goals while staying flexible enough to adjust our course when necessary. Just as a chess player must balance their immediate needs with their overall strategy, we must learn to prioritize what matters most while remaining open to unexpected twists and turns. This balance between planning and adaptability is essential for achieving success in any endeavor. Chess also underscores the value of persistence. Losing a piece or facing a difficult position doesn't mean the end of the game. It's an opportunity to regroup, reassess, and find a new path forward. This mindset is crucial in life, where setbacks are inevitable but not insurmountable. By teaching us to stay focused and resourceful, chess empowers us to turn challenges into opportunities for growth. Beyond its strategic lessons, chess has become a cultural phenomenon because it speaks to universal truths. Its timeless appeal lies in its ability to connect people across generations, cultures, and backgrounds. Whether played in bustling city parks, quiet homes, or grand tournaments, chess continues to inspire and challenge us, offering insights that extend far beyond the board. From medieval courts to modern classrooms, chess has left an indelible mark on history and human thought. It reminds us that life, like the game, is a blend of strategy, creativity, and resilience. By embracing these lessons, we can navigate our own journeys with greater purpose and wisdom, always ready to make the next move. Chess was far more than a pastime for medieval rulers. It was a profound training ground for diplomacy and statecraft. On the surface, the game appears to be a battle of wits, but its deeper implications shaped the way leaders approached alliances, rivalries, and even warfare. The strategic thinking required to outmaneuver an opponent on the board mirrored the delicate dance of politics, where every move carried weight and every decision could alter the balance of power. One of the most critical lessons chess imparted was the art of patience. In a world where impulsive decisions could lead to disastrous consequences, the game taught rulers to pause, evaluate, and plan several moves ahead. This approach was invaluable in diplomacy, where hasty actions could spark conflict or alienate allies. By learning to anticipate their opponent's strategies, rulers could navigate complex negotiations with foresight and precision, ensuring their kingdoms remained stable and secure. Sacrifice was another cornerstone of both chess and medieval diplomacy. Just as a player might relinquish a pawn to gain a positional advantage, leaders often had to make difficult concessions to achieve their goals. Whether it was ceding territory to forge an alliance or offering tribute to avoid war, these calculated sacrifices were essential for maintaining long-term stability. The ability to recognize when to give ground and when to hold firm was a skill honed at the chessboard and applied in the halls of power. Chess also emphasized the importance of adaptability. No game unfolds exactly as planned, and rulers quickly learned that rigid strategies could lead to defeat. This flexibility was crucial in diplomacy, where unforeseen events, such as shifting alliances or unexpected betrayals, required leaders to pivot and reassess their approach. By embracing change and staying open to new opportunities, medieval rulers could turn potential setbacks into stepping stones for success. The legacy of chess extends far beyond the Middle Ages. Its timeless principles continue to resonate with leaders today, offering a blueprint for navigating the complexities of modern diplomacy. In an era of global interconnectedness, the ability to think strategically, act decisively, and remain adaptable is more important than ever. By drawing on the wisdom of the medieval chessboard, we can approach the challenges of our time with clarity and confidence. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of how chess shaped history and diplomacy. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, be sure to subscribe for more insights into the fascinating world of medieval history. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, every move counts.